This is another opportunity to watch part 3 of my RHS Wisley series. In part 3 of my video about RHS Wisley, we'll take a look at the moist temperate zone and the dry temperate zone, both of which can be found in its tropical glasshouse. In the moist temperate zone, you'll find many tree ferns and tropical plants that could tolerate a light frost at least. The Dicksonia Squarrosa is also known as the rough tree fern. Native to New Zealand, it has a lovely slender black trunk with beautiful umbrella fronds at the top. It's a faster growing tree fern, gaining about 8 to 10 centimetres each year, and is hardy down to about -5. Dicksonia Fibrosa is very similar to the Antarctica that we're more familiar with, however it's slightly smaller with slightly paler colour leaves. The Cyathea Felina is a beautiful, elegant tree fern, which is fast growing but only hardy down to about 0 degrees. Cyathea Medularis is also known as the black tree fern. Named after its beautiful black trunk, it has long fronds up to 5 metres. It will need plenty of water during hot spells, however it's not frost hardy. Cyathea Cooperi is also known as Cooper's tree fern. It comes from Australia and has long fronds of up to 4 to 5 metres long. It enjoys dappled sunlight and should be kept above 0 degrees C. It will not regrow its fronds if frosted, unlike the Dicksonia Antarctica. Archontophoenix Cunninghamiana is also known as the king palm. It's a slender, fast-growing feather palm that can reach up to 15 metres tall, and its pinnate leaves can reach up to 3 metres long. New leaves have a lovely coppery hue. It enjoys a regular feed, however it will only tolerate light frosts. Rhopalostylis Sapida is also known as the nickel palm. It's native to New Zealand and has these beautiful long fronds, 3 metres long. It's hardy to about -3 degrees but will need frost protection and should be kept out of direct sunlight. Farfugium Japonicum Aureomaculatum is also known as the leopard plant. This is a clump-forming perennial from Japan. It likes bright dappled shade and will die back to the ground over winter, just needs to be mulched over. Another Farfugium is this lovely one, Wavy Gravy, also known as the Michaelmas daisy. It has light blue daisy flowers and is fully hardy in the UK. Lepidozamia Peroffskyana is an Australian cycad. It's slow growing and low maintenance. The cones on a female can reach 90 centimetres tall, however this is frost tender. And behind it is this beautiful tall Strelitzia Nicolai, also known as the giant white bird of paradise. It can grow up to 7 to 8 metres tall. It has beautiful white flowers but rarely flowers in the UK. The Strelitzia alba is also known as the white-flowered wild banana. It's very similar to the Nicolai, but it can grow up to 10 metres tall. Strelitzia reginae flowers better in humid conservatories and glasshouses. It has beautiful orange flowers. The Kirstenbosch gold variety, also known as Mandela's gold, has yellow flowers which are absolutely stunning. And the humilis variety is a dwarf clumping Strelitzia, very similar to the reginae. Strelitzia jonquia is a really interesting variety of Strelitzia. It has very long stalks but hardly any leaves, and the leaves that it does have are tiny. This helps it to be more wind resistant. Heliconia sheardiana is another relative of the banana. Although this is the hardiest variety of Heliconia, it would still be better to bring it indoors for winter if you're wanting it to flower. And it would be worth it for these beautiful lobster claw flowers. Musa sycamensis is also known as the Bengal tiger banana or red tiger banana, due to the red stripe in the leaf of the younger bananas. It can normally survive a UK winter, sometimes dying back to ground level, but is not as hardy as the Musa basjoo. This plant's monocarpic, so after flowering this banana will die. Musa velutina is also known as the pink banana due to the pink colour of the fruit that it produces. It will normally survive down to about -5 with protection. Gloxinia is a tuberous rooted perennial from Brazil. Some varieties of Gloxinia are hardy and others will need winter protection, so it's best to check when you're buying. Butylon Ashford Red, also known as the flowering maple, and has the most beautiful red flowers. It can tolerate low temperatures in a frost-free greenhouse. Caryophyllus is also known as the Himalayan fishtail palm. This is considered to be one of the hardiest of the fishtail palms and may do well in some of the milder areas of the UK. Pteris ambrosia is an Australian fern which likes moist shade and is fairly hardy. Begonia Irene Nuss has large dark green foliage and pale pink blooms. It can grow 50 to 60 centimetres tall but is not considered hardy in the UK. Washingtonia robusta is a tall palm with beautiful fan-shaped leaves. It's hardy down to about -5 and becomes more hardy as the plant matures. Butea eriospatha is also known as the woolly jelly palm. It's very similar to the Butea capita, although it has a woolly covering over the flower spike. Canna iamanii is a tall variety of canna, growing up to 2.5 metres tall, and has beautiful pink flowers. It will grow well in moist, sunny borders and needs to be kept well watered. Phoenix robellinii is also known as the pygmy date palm. This is a slow-growing palm that grows in large numbers along the Mekong River. It prefers indirect light and moist soil. Brahia edulis is also known as the Guadeloupe palm. This beautiful fan palm can grow up to 13 metres tall and grows at a rate of 30 centimetres per year. You can see here just how large these palmate leaves are. It prefers nutritionally poor soil and can survive up to -7 degrees. Livistona australis is also known as the cabbage tree palm. It can grow up to 25 metres tall and hardy down to about -2. And this beautiful passion flower, Passiflora anastasia, is a climbing plant that will grow well on trellises or in hanging baskets. It blooms prolifically through spring, summer and autumn. However, it's not very hardy, so would need to be moved indoors. Sable minor is also known as the dwarf palmetto. It's a slow-growing small palm. It's hardy but will struggle to grow without hot, humid summers. Hedychium greenii is a ginger with attractive foliage and showy flowers. It's quite hardy and it's best to mulch over it if you're leaving it out. Cycas pansiensis is rare and vulnerable. It's hardy down to about -7 but would likely lose its leaves. Next we're going to move on to the dry temperate zone, mimicking dry, semi-arid and desert conditions. The plants in this section are adapted to be drought tolerant. Agave montana comes from Mexico. It's easy to grow and hardy down to -10 degrees. This Agave americana is a variety called lemon lime. It can grow 4 foot tall by 4 foot wide, but is not as large as some other Americanas. Agave franciscii has striking foliage with a powdery blue-grey leaf. It's hardy down to about -10 degrees, but as with most of the plants in this area, they do need to be kept dry. Agave parrii is neat and compact with a diameter of 70 centimetres. It's hardy down to -10 when mature. Agave Joe Hoke is an incredibly pretty agave. It grows up to 90 centimetres wide and the leaves curl upwards and then out. It's hardy down to about -4 degrees. Agave Siciliana has dark green sword-shaped leaves that grow up to 1.5 metres long. It's hardy down to about -4. Agave attenuata is fast growing. It can grow 2 to 3 metres tall. However, the temperature shouldn't drop below 5 degrees. Dacilerian longissimum is also known as the Mexican grass tree. It's a striking plant and is highly sought after. However, it matures very slowly. It's hardy down to -8 degrees, but again should not be watered in winter. Puya coerulia is a bromeliad. In spring, mature plants have deep violet tubular flowers. Nolina nelsonii is also known as the blue beargrass tree. This yucca-like plant can grow 2 metres tall and survive down to -15 degrees. The aloe ferox has blue-green lance-shaped leaves up to 3 foot long. It produces orange tubular flowers and survives down to -5 degrees. The aloe arborescens is also known as the candelabra aloe. This is a low-maintenance plant that can survive -2 for short periods. Aloe vera is one of the best air-purifying plants to grow as a houseplant, and its sap is also really good for treating sunburn. Euphorbia ingens is also known as the African candelabra tree. It's low maintenance and can survive -2 for short periods. Euphorbia trigona is also known as the African milk tree due to its milky sap, which is toxic if ingested. It can grow at a rate of 1 foot per year and up to 2 meters tall. Encephalatus are a genus of cycad native to Africa. They're commonly called bread trees or bread palms due to the starchy food from the central stem. Velocis is one of the most common dwarf cycads in southern Africa. It's shade-loving, fast-growing and can produce pups. However, ferox is classified as near threatened. It likes humid summers and mild winters, however its frost tolerance is unclear. Lehmanii is described as the hardiest and most drought-resistant cycad, tolerating moderate to heavy frost. This yucca silver star grows 6 to 9 meters tall and is hardy down to -9 degrees. Mammillaria geminispina is a clustering cactus from Mexico. It forms incomplete rings of pretty pink flowers, as does the Spinacissima. These cacti should not be watered during the winter months and are best kept as houseplants. Rhodantha is faster growing than other mammillarias and will quickly form large clumps. It can survive down to -5 degrees if kept dry. Hyamanthus coccineus is also known as the blood flower or blood lily. It's often found on coastal dunes and is not considered hardy in the UK. The Brahia armata is also known as the Mexican blue palm. It's a single trunk palm that grows very slowly, taking 15 years to grow 5 to 8 feet. It can survive down to -9 degrees and copes well with arid conditions. Aloidendron barbarae is also known as the tree aloe. It's Africa's largest aloe and it's fast growing, but not frost hardy. Aloidendron dichotomon is also known as the quiver tree, as its branches are sometimes hollowed out to make quivers. It's relatively fast growing and can grow up to 9 meters tall. Pheracactus pilosus is also known as the Mexican lime cactus, or fire barrel due to its lovely red spines. This plant could tolerate a light frost if kept dry. This Carnegie gigantea is very small at the moment, however it can grow up to 12 meters tall, developing branches as it ages. It can live for over 200 years. Echinocactus grusonii is also known as the golden barrel cactus, or mother-in-law's cushion. It's slow growing and critically endangered in the wild. Normally it grows in volcanic rock, and it will tolerate a light frost. Paradaya ledinghausii is also known as the golden ball cactus or lemon ball cactus. It can survive down to -3 degrees and can tolerate a bit more water in winter. Cerospiralis is a beautiful blue-green colour, spiralling column. Younger plants are straight, however when they get to about 10 centimetres they start to twist. Pachypodium lameri is known as the Madagascar palm, although it's not actually a palm tree. The leaves are deciduous in winter, and the flowers are beautiful and fragrant. It mainly photosynthesizes through its trunk, which has large thorns covering it. It's not hardy and must be kept indoors and dry over winter. Pelargonium tetragonum is unlike other pelargoniums. It's almost leafless with succulent stems and beautiful pale pink flowers. It grows on cliffs and rocky places and is frost tender. Aloeampelos is a multi-branched climbing or sprawling shrub from southern Africa. They can be used as hedges, and some varieties are frost hardy. This Ostrocylindropuntia emerald idol is part of the prickly pear family. It's slow growing and frost tender. Lemuriocerius is a difficult plant for beginners to grow. They require more warmth in winter than most cacti and are susceptible to fungus. Bocania recurvata is known as the ponytail palm, although it's not actually a palm tree, and is actually part of the asparagus family. When grown outdoors, it can reach up to 30 foot tall, but doesn't like temperatures below 10 degrees C. If you're enjoying this content, then please do make sure you're subscribed to my channel. This is still a new channel, so every subscriber really does make a difference. You can also turn on notifications to make sure you don't miss any of my new videos. And please let me know what you think in the comments, because they really do help my channel to grow. You can also follow me on social media for links to my latest videos and my photo of the day, in which I usually share photos of flowers from my garden, along with their names if known. You can follow me on Facebook, on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, or you can join my Facebook group to ask questions or share photos. And you can find all of my YouTube videos on Freya's Tropical Garden website, which I will also be expanding to provide advice pages as well as items for sale. Links to these pages are included in my description.